Hello, guys. Welcome back to the Blackout Tea channel. I hope you guys are having a blessed and wonderful day. We're going to go ahead and get into this food stamp update, guys. I know a lot of people are very nervous about what is to come in November. This is a very hard time for some, especially the folks that are getting food stamps. That includes our elderly folks as well as our folks with younger children. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into it and see what's being said right now, baby, about these stamps.
They gonna cut off the food stamps, and you gonna go to jail for stealing? The fuck? One girl said her and her motherfucking man gonna be in the store stealing. Now, I done gave out 10 certification classes all over the United States. You telling me you or that nigga can't take a 5-week class and go motherfucking get some food? Y'all nigga can't do DoorDash. I can start a medical courier business and make bank right now. Today, you gonna go to jail. Please believe these people are going to prosecute you. Go get you a $40 Aldi box and make that motherfucker the best guy. You know what? Aldi's, can y'all reach out to me? Give me a check though. But I want to promote this shit because I'm about to turn this $40 Aldi box into a duck motherfucking meal. And then I'm going to show y'all at my kids' family house who don't use food stamps. Everybody come together. Sis collect a collection. And everybody contribute. And ain't nobody got no food stamps, and they eat good. I'm talking about real good. They eat good. My kids want to go over there for Thanksgiving. I'm gonna make that $40 out of these boxes because they don't even like turkey. So I really just want to fry some fish and make some macaroni and cheese and some shrimp.
The government shutdown is not stopping people from receiving their food stamp benefits.
Right.
What's really going on is a power play with the government. So what the Trump administration done was requested data from the states from all the way back in 2020. You all know when the bat bug was going around, and a lot of people had to get SNAP benefits and food stamp benefits because of that emergency. So what the Trump administration is doing is requesting all of the SNAP data from people who received those benefits from all the way back from 2020. So we all know that the blue states, they don't want to comply with the Trump administration. Now the red states gave this information over with no problem. But what the blue states did, they refused. They said that it was giving out too much info when they usually just collect data. They want all of the personal info now. So the blue states are refusing to do that. So what's happening right now is really a power play with the government, and they playing with y'all food. But I say this to say, if you give someone the sole authority to feed you, you give them the sole authority to starve you. If you're one of those people that has been dependent on food stamps your entire life to feed yourself and your children, and you have no other means to do that, to feed your family, then you may be a part of the problem. You should never give nobody that much authority to starve you at all. So what do you all think about this? What do y'all think about what's going on with the government and how they playing with people's families and the way people eat at this point? Do you feel like it's the government's fault, or do you feel like it's that individual's fault for allowing the government to have so much authority over them that they are allowed to starve them? What do you all think?
Man, I'm in here shopping, spending all this damn money, and this nigga in here stuffing shit. Man, what the fuck? Don't nobody see this shit?
Okay, so yes, November's benefits, people are getting alerts saying that if the government shutdown continues, that there may be insufficient funds for the month of November. However, food stamps are a mandatory program. Citizens, participants are legally entitled to these funds. So in the past, if something like this happens and has happened, they take extreme measures to make sure that the recipients are receiving this funding because it is life securing and saving funding. This goes out to disabled people who are unable to leave their homes. This is not something that they would take lightly. It would be very serious. It would cause major grocery store shutdowns because they are gearing up every month, the beginning of the month, for all of these millions of dollars of EBT and food stamps to be coming through. There would be so much chaos coming from this. They would not allow it, regardless of what you think about Trump. It's not going to happen. Do not let fear set in. Trust in our Lord and know that everything is going to be okay. I'm just trying to make sure you guys know how important this is to the government.
Remember how I told you the longer this government shutdown lasts, the worse it's going to get? Well, we are now 20 days into it, and worse is almost here for more than 40 million men, women, and kids who get food assistance from the U.S. government's SNAP program.
And an important role of the government is to provide that safety nest for those with the least among us. Today, I think New York announced that they can't continue taking new enrollees because of the government shutdown in SNAP, in our food stamp program. We're going to run out of money in 2 weeks. So you're talking about millions and millions of vulnerable families, of hungry families that are not going to have access to these programs because of this shutdown.
That was the Secretary of Agriculture who said last week that by November 1st, an estimated 42 million Americans could be shut out of the SNAP program. Recipients just wouldn't get their benefits. Now, just to be clear, SNAP is the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. It used to be called food stamps, and it is the government program that provides food benefits to low-income families in order to supplement their grocery budgets. Now, according to the Agriculture Department, about 12% of U.S. residents receive SNAP benefits, and as of 2024, that SNAP benefit averaged about $190 a month. According to this letter, though, sent to all SNAP administrators in all states nationwide 10 days ago, if the government does not reopen, there will be insufficient funds to pay full November SNAP benefits. The acting administrator of SNAP went on to say in the letter, in the interest of preserving maximum flexibility, state SNAP offices should not be sending out monthly issuance files to vendors. And without those issuance files, vendors cannot load SNAP benefits onto those EBT cards. And if the benefits aren't loaded onto the EBT cards, then SNAP beneficiaries don't have the money to buy the groceries they need. It's a ripple effect. So if you do receive SNAP benefits, what is this going to mean for you? Well, the fact is the government is shut down because, as I've been reporting, Congress cannot agree on how to allocate money to each government department. The Department of Agriculture is one of those government departments, and it oversees SNAP benefits. So until the shutdown is ended, legally, they can't spend any money, including on your SNAP benefits. Each state, though, is handling this differently. Some are doing exactly what this letter says and cutting off all November SNAP payments. Some are reportedly considering sending out partial payments in November, and it's also possible that your state may pay for the benefits up front themselves and then try and get some kind of reimbursement from the federal government. But that is all in limbo right now. So if you are in this program and you are concerned about your November benefits, I highly suggest that you check your state's SNAP program website to figure out if there's anything you should be doing right now to prepare yourself. It's also possible, because of the shutdown, the Trump administration could do for SNAP what they say they are going to do for the WIC program and the 7 million low-income women and children who rely on that food assistance program. The White House said that it will temporarily use tariff revenue to pay for WIC. We will have to wait and see if they choose to do.
My thing is, yo, them people just got 20 billion from over here. 20 billion, okay? Trump just sent on overseas. Okay, this starting to not add up. It's starting to not make any sense at all. SNAP benefits are due to halt in some states amid this government shutdown, and a lot of those states are starting with the blues. Okay, and that is because, again, the blue refuse to release data. I mean, really, it's too much data that they're asking for, to be honest with you. At the end of the day, they've already gotten data. They collect this information so that people can get the food stamp benefits anyways. Okay, there's a lot of elderly people, and then for them to keep on talking about have babies, have more babies, have more babies. How the hell these people supposed to feed babies if you asking them to have more babies, but you trying to take the benefits that they've got? Okay, so we are gonna get down here in a breakdown in a second.
And there is no end in sight. Republican senators are expected to head to the White House today for a group lunch with President Trump, but it's not clear what's on the agenda, and it does all come as the effects of this shutdown are getting worse by the day. Now Americans are wondering how far this will go and how much they will be impacted. ABC's Perry Russom's here to answer some of the top questions on Google related to the shutdown. So, Perry, I love doing these segments because we get straight to what viewers are really concerned about. And the first question that we got, will food stamps be issued in November?
Yeah, so the acting head of SNAP, his name is Ronald Ward. He is warning that there are insufficient funds to pay the full SNAP benefits through November. That would affect about 42 million Americans who rely on those benefits all the time. And then also the Secretary of Agriculture is warning that millions and millions of vulnerable Americans and families are not going to have access to these programs because of the shutdown. Then separately, there is WIC as well. That's been getting funding through the tariff revenue. 7 million women and children get those benefits. Not clear, though, how long that funding is going to last, Diane.
People are also Googling, Perry, do I pay interest on a furlough loan?
Right. So if you are furloughed and you're a member of the federal government, you do have the ability to get what's called a furlough loan. There are some different groups that offer that, like USAA and then also the Navy Federal Credit Union, where their interest rate is 0%. So what they do is they look at your most recent direct deposit paycheck that comes for the federal government. They calculate that. They also cap it at $6,000. But remember, this is a loan, so you do have to pay this money back. But if you do decide to get a loan from somewhere else, very important to check that interest rate because that money can add up, Diane.
Right.
And loans seem to be a big topic here. People are also Googling, how are student loans affected by the shutdown?
Yeah, so this really does not affect student loans because student loans were already earmarked. They were already put aside in previous appropriations bills, so that money should be going. But one thing that could be affected by this are some of the furloughs that are happening at the Department of Education. So essential employees will be there to be running programs that are needed to keep the Department of Education going, as well as paying off some of these loans. But let's say your loan payment hasn't come in on time, or there might be a discrepancy in the amount. You might have some trouble getting somebody on the phone, so some support staff may be furloughed, so it might take a little bit longer to try and get somebody on the phone to remedy any situation.
And this one's pretty specific. People are searching Jose Andres furlough meals. So his restaurants often offer free meals to furloughed workers. Is that happening this time around?
They are doing it again here in Washington, D.C., so there are 4 restaurants that the chef has kind of put aside for people to go and get free lunches Monday through Friday. So the times there are from 11:30 in the morning to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we have some of the restaurants there on your screen. Those are the 4 here in Washington. A reminder, just Monday through Friday, 11:30 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. All you have to do is just show your government ID, Diane.
And Perry, we're going to need you to give us a civics and a math lesson with the next one. How many votes to end the shutdown? I have faith in you.
60. 60 is the number. So the vote failed again yesterday for the 11th time, and that vote came down 50 to 43. It needs 60 votes to advance. Remember, this bill already passed in the House, so they just need the Senate to approve this thing. But the big note here is that there's been no movement on this vote, so we are still exactly where we were from day 1, day 2, day 3 as we continue on this government shutdown. So House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries yesterday saying they are looking to get some more heat on the Republicans in November. I know we are still in October, but it appears the House Democrats are already looking at November for this government shutdown continuing, Diane.
Perry, any sense of how close they are, how many votes they have at this point?
Yeah, I mean, look at it yesterday, 50 to 43. I mean, that number that we've been looking at is 5 Democrats to go over. Those people have not gone over just yet. You know, the Democrats in both the Senate and House have been pretty steadfast in making sure that they want to get the ACA subsidies extended. But the Republicans are saying they're not going to have negotiation until the government is reopened. But so far, no movement on that.
All right, Perry Russum, thank you.
All right, guys. So let's talk about it.
And we are now 3 weeks.
One of the biggest impacts of the government shutdown is about to hit tens of millions of the poorest Americans hard. The halting of the critical food stamp program, several states are now warning they will be forced to suspend supplemental nutrition assistance program benefits come November 1st if the shutdown continues. SNAP, often referred to as food stamps, serves roughly 42 million low-income Americans. The program, run by the USDA Food and Nutrition Service, issues electronic benefits that can be used like cash to purchase food. Texas is now warning its millions of recipients that all November SNAP benefits will be halted if the shutdown continues past October 27th. So this is only a couple of days here. Pennsylvania officials say they will also not be able to distribute SNAP benefits if the shutdown now it's 21 days continues because Republicans in Washington D.C. failed to pass a federal budget causing the federal government shutdown. November 2025 SNAP benefits cannot be paid. An alert on the state's Department of Human Services website reads. Other states, such as Minnesota and New York, are issuing similar warnings, saying benefits are at risk or may be delayed if the shutdown continues. SNAP has its traditionally been entirely federally funded, but is administered by states. That means the shutdown's impact on SNAP and when benefits will start to dry up will vary upon state to state. Earlier this month, the Special Supplemental Nutrition Program for Women, Infants, and Children, commonly known as WIC, received $300 million from the White House to help support the program through October 31st amid shutdown. But now states are projected to run out of funds as early as next month. WIC, which would help more than 7 million low-income mothers, young children, and expectant parents get nutritious food, is on the verge of running out of money as early as November 1st unless the government reopens or receives additional emergency funding. Previously, the White House said it would use tariff revenue to pay for WIC benefits. Without additional funding, state WIC agencies may be forced to take drastic measures that prevent families from accessing the services they need, such as halting food benefits. This would directly jeopardize the health and nutrition of millions of mothers, babies, and young children. National WIC Association CEO Georgia McHale said in a statement on Tuesday. In the letter to state health officials earlier this month, Ronald Ward, the acting head of SNAP, warned if the current lapse in the appropriations continues, there will be insufficient funds to pay full November SNAP benefits for approximately 42 million individuals across the nation. This has already been a tumultuous few months for SNAP. Donald Trump mega bill already cut the program by an estimated 186 billion over 10 years. So we're going to go ahead and get into a breakdown because it's official. The USDA is imposing new work requirements for receiving SNAP benefits starting November 1st in all states. So at first they was talking about this state, that state. No, now they're talking about all states. So beginning November 1st, supposedly states are being directed to fully enforce updated SNAP work rules for a group known as able-bodied adults without dependents. The U.S. Department of Agriculture's Food and Nutrition Service issued implementation memoranda this month that end the transition period and require states to apply time limit and related requirements statewide, tightening the use of waivers and finished beneficiary notifications. These changes arrive alongside warnings from multiple states that November SNAP benefits could be delayed if the federal funding lapse continues. Okay, so what exactly is changing? USDA's rule set focus on the long-standing ABAWD time limit that is generally 3 months of SNAP in any 36-month period unless the person satisfies work, training, and qualifies activities for the least 80 hours per month or qualifies for an exemption or a good cause deferral. The current guidance clarifies how states must evaluate participation hours, track the compliance, apply exemptions, and restrict area waivers. In practice, more adults aged around 18 to 64 without dependent children will be screened against the time limit and work rules, which narrow leeway for geographic waivers when states used in the past. So November 1st deadline. FNS implementation memo set November 1st as the end of the transition period for several provisions under the year's federal law changes. From the date states are expected to have their systems, notices, screening, and documentation fully in place. Importantly, FNS has also communicated that the temporarily hold harness window for quality control reviews, giving states breathing room while they stood up new processes expires around the November rollout, meaning errors in applying the ABAWD rules will again count in federal QC measurements. Most directly affected are ABAWDS, typically working age adults without dependent children in the home who are not meeting the monthly 80-hour participation threshold. Many other SNAP recipients are not subject to the ABAWD clock. People who are pregnant, individuals certified as unfit for work, primary caregivers of a child in the home, and other meeting specific exemption criteria. Good cause protections also remain. So this is if somebody has an illness, there's an emergency or other circumstances beyond the person's control, and states retain a limited pool of discriminatory exemptions to extend eligibility on a case-by-case basis. So the waivers and the exemptions, guys, this is for all states' claims. The November guidance and emphasizes statewide readiness and tighter waiver standards. States must submit the plans that show how they will achieve full and accurate implementation of the ABAWD time limit statewide, including concrete milestones, while area waivers suspending the ABAWD time limit in a specific localities still exist in federal law, narrows eligibility for those waivers and expects states to limit their use. In short, the expectation is to uniform enforcement across states with fewer carve outs than in recent years, though narrowly tailored waivers and individual exceptions remain possible where criteria are met. So, timelines, the ages, and the technical details. ABAWD hour and clock, that's 80 hours a month. That is to avoid the 3 and 36-month time limit. States must verify and track the compliance. Exemptions and good cause retained and clarified with states required to document determinations and use limited discriminatory exemptions. Quality control, the QC hold harness cushion around implementation ends as the November enforcement begins. Okay? Separate from work rule changes, many states are openly warning that November SNAP issuance may be delayed or disrupted due to the federal funding lapse. Officials in several states, including Pennsylvania and others, have said they cannot schedule November payments absent congregational action and national outlets report USDA signaled insufficient funds to cover the month of the shutdown persists. This is not a policy change, but it could temporarily overshadow the rollout for households waiting on those benefits for the start of November. So, the ABAWDS now under the time limit, the immediate priority is documented participation, paid work, approved training, or qualifying community service to reach the 80 hours threshold that's needed. Those with health limits, caregiving responsibilities, homelessness, or other barriers should proactively engage caseworkers to determine exemptions or good cause coverage. States have instructed to notify newly affected households, but caseload volumes mean some people will first learn the change when their certification is due or if benefits time out after the 3 months. Eligibility systems must be updated. They have to calculate and track the 3 month, the 3 and 36 month limit. They have to capture monthly participation. They need to apply the exemptions to your accounts, and then they need to generate notices and the fair hearing materials that reflect the new federal guidance. States are also expected to curb over resilience and area waivers, report progress to FNS, and keep QC error reports in check now that the grace period is ending. And they're going to have to be on top of this stuff because the way the Republican Party has been requesting it, Donald Trump them is going to want every inch of it, especially when it comes from these blue states. Linking ongoing SNAP eligibility for childless, working age adults to labor force engagement has long been part of the federal law, which is distinctive now, is the timing and scope of the renewed standardized enforcement push, paired with tighter waiver criteria and heightened QC scrutiny. October 2025, the final USDA implementation memoranda and the state planning deliverable states warn of the funding of the disruptions. On November 1st, the transition period ends. The states begin full enforcement of the updated ABAWD provisions. The claim captures the core reality from November 1st. All states are expected to fully apply the updated SNAP information, time limit, and work participation frame with substantially tighter limits on where waivers can suspend those rules. However, some localized waivers and individual exemptions still exist, so in all states refers to the nationwide enforcement posture. Not that every single county will have identical conditions. So it's going to depend on where you're living, guys. The immediate partial issue for many households is to meet or document 80 hours a month or seek exemptions good cause while staying alert to any possible November payment delays driven. So this is going to end like this, okay? There's going to be a lot of people going in stores and stealing food. And this is shameful as Americans. It's shameful for the government to be going through these issues to where they can send $20 billion someplace where there is no Americans, where they need to feed, and they have issues with getting the 42 million food and assistance here. A lot of people have children, they're young children. A lot of these people can't even afford to work because daycare is probably going to be way more than what they're actually making. Okay. And then again, the government is out here asking these people to continuously have more children, have more children. I don't get it. How you want them to have more children that they're not going to be able to feed? Guys, the month of November and December, you know that those are holidays. The best thing that's going to be is for a lot of you guys to go ahead and start cooking your meals as a family. If you're able to pair up with families, maybe you cook today for your family and your sister, or, vice versa, your brother, whatever you guys can do to try to help each other out to try to savor food. Another thing that you can do is when it comes down to these Thanksgiving meals, cut back on the amount that you're spending and you're trying to get, but make sure that you get enough so that you're able to have a good Thanksgiving and Christmas. Because right now, things are starting to get really, really rough, and it's going to continue to get worse, okay? This is not going to be an issue that's going to get better. I don't think a lot of people understand the importance of what it is to vote when you need to vote. And this is going to show a lot of people what they need to do the next time around. A lot of individuals are being affected. I can't say that I'm one. I don't get food stamps or any of the benefits that we're discussing, but I know a lot of people that do. Hell, I don't even have younger kids anymore. My kids are older where they've got their own place and they're out and they're working their own jobs. But for some, I know that it's hard, especially as young parents are coming in. I know at times you want to say to these kids, stop having babies, stop having babies, stop having babies. Okay, but for the ones that are already here, they have to still be fed. Okay, so we got to make sure that we're helping each other, that we're thinking about others. Make sure that you're checking on people, especially the elderly. Sometimes these people don't have nobody stopping by checking on them at all. If you're able to drop off 3 meals, you cook on Sunday. Normally, everybody cooks big meals on Sundays. If you're able to drop off 3 plates for them to have during the week, try to do so. You will get your good faith back, okay? At the end of the day, it is time to buckle down. I feel like there's going to be a lot going on. You guys need to pay attention while y'all in these grocery stores. So many things can occur right now. People can lose their mind. Do not get caught up in these grocery stores or caught up shopping out. And we have these tragedies happening. It's happening all over. And really, right now, it's because people do not know what to do. Be careful when you're going to your cars. You got to be careful about how you're carrying cash. People thinking about robbing people. There is so much out here now that there needs to be a concern about. So, guys, just make sure that you are holding steady. Pay attention to the news. Keep your updates. If you are working or able to work, guys, do so. Get your information into your workers. And if you are not able to make it out here without your food stamp and these assistance that y'all need to start hounding these workers. Start hounding these workers so these workers can start hounding their authorities, the higher ups, so that the higher ups can start hounding the government. Okay? At the end of the day, do what you can, but make sure that your family survives. All right. I love you guys. Do me a favor, thumbs up the video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure that y'all got those post notifications on. I talk about any and all types of news now, so you never know what's going to come through this channel. I love you guys. Mwah. Thanks so much for watching.